The Shintaro Higashi Show is sponsored by Hakuin AI. Hakuin AI helps you measure, predict, and solve customer churn. Visit Hakuin AI and start your free churn audit today. Higashi brand. Train hard, live strong, wear Higashi brand. Judo TV, your premier destination for live and on-demand judo coverage. Never miss a throw.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi Show with David Kim. Today we have a very special episode about Veterans Judo, formerly Masters Judo, and we got two main guys here. We have Ray and Billy. Tell us about yourselves.
All right, so look, I've been involved in judo probably my entire life. I'm from South Jersey, not too far from you, Shintaro, and my school, or was my dad's school, we've been there over 60 years. It's still going, and I've been in and out of judo most of my life. You know, a little bit of break during college and all that, and get my career started. And I also have a school down in Myrtle Beach. So in Jersey, it's called Vineland Judo. In Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, it's Myrtle Beach Judo, and we're just keeping it going. I competed a little bit, a while as a kid, and then took a break a little bit, and then came back in my 30s and started competing in this whole veterans thing.
Awesome. And you're the guy that organizes all the veterans events in the United States, right?
So look, here's the thing. There's two different things. So you have USA Judo that, kind of puts on nationals and, other events. Myself, Hector Negron, and Brad Daniels came up with Veterans Judo USA. So a separate nonprofit organization to promote veterans, and we put on 2 tournaments a year and a training camp to try to boost involvement in veterans and people over 30.
Yep. And tell us about you, Billy.
So my story is a little different. I was heavily involved in judo when I was younger, like most. Transitioned out of high school and joined the military, and was competing at a high level, but my actual career in the service took over, so I kind of basically stepped away from judo for a while. Had a very great time with business and work, and looking for something to do as I get ready to retire. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I got back into judo as a hobby, just to try to get back in shape, so I'd have something to work on and do, which led to meeting Ray and competing, and feeling the buzz again and wanting to compete. And here I am now, 3 years later, have a great school down in Beaufort, South Carolina. Travel with Ray and the team often internationally. Won nationals this year, so it's judo has been a way for me to start to step down from my business career, but still have the energy to focus positively on something.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. I love it that you guys both own dojos and you guys are in the game, and you guys are older career men who are doing both and also competing. I think that's like that competing factor is such a rare thing, right?
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely amazing. So why veterans and not masters? Like, let's start with that jargon, because a lot of guys, when they say veterans, it's like they think ex-military.
I thought the same thing when I first heard it.
Yeah. When did that happen?
Yeah, so when did that switch over? That switched over, I don't know, like maybe 10, 15 years ago. I forget the exact date. But my understanding is that the International Judo Federation, the IJF, didn't want to call it Masters because they have a Masters tournament, right?
Yes,
that big high-level Grand Slam-ish type of tournament. Yeah. And they didn't want it confused, so they began to call it Veterans, meaning over the age of 30. And the same thing, it's probably mostly in the United States. I get it from everyone. As soon as they see veterans, they think military. Yeah. And it's not related to it. I know a lot of the tournaments over in Europe, France in particular, they still call them Masters. So yeah. It is a bit confusing.
The divisions are M1, M2, so it has the M in front of it. It kind of should be that, right?
Keep it. I don't understand why one tournament throws the whole thing off.
Yeah. It's okay though.
But it all works out.
Why Masters? Like, why should we care about this? And tell us a little bit more about that.
So look, the couple of reasons. Number one, as far as judo, it's supposed to be a lifetime sport. We didn't Kano wanted this thing to go on forever, right? And then we should spread it around and spread the word and keep teaching judo. I think competing is a necessary component of learning judo, right? We teach a technique and you work on it, and then you work on it in randori, at your club, and you see if you can't use that technique against your teammates. And then the next level is to compete in a shiai to see if what you're learning is working, right? So it is all part of the learning aspect. The second thing is, and I'm a chiropractor and I see lots of patients, and there's such a huge discrepancy of how people are in shape over the age of 30. I might even bring that down to 25. Like right after college, man, I see some people that are in great shape, and I see some people declining. And if you think about it, there's not a whole lot of sports that you can be actively involved in on a competitive stage over 30. Like as soon as you leave college, it kind of tails down. You know what I mean? And I know there's sports out there and all of it doing it, but I think people need to stay active their entire lives. Like all the way to the end, you should be going. Right? And that's how we stay healthy. So not only is it how to learn judo and get better at judo, but as a society, we need to stay active. And I get it a lot. People are like, "What? You're 55 and doing what?" But why is that a thing? Like, why should it be any different for me than a 25-year-old?
It's true,
right? I mean, I think as a society, and you see it in Europe a bunch, where they promote veterans or people over the age of 30 more. Like I've been to a bunch of like community centers and all that the competitions I've been to, and not only are they having judo tournaments, but they're having wrestling, they're having older baseball, they're having, all kind of stuff. I think it's just it's a society thing, right? Like I think we need to push, hey, you need to keep working out and be active our entire lives.
Ray's lucky that we're not in the same division. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I am a M4, which is 45 to 49, and Ray just bumped up to M6, right, Ray?
Yeah, M6.
And we travel a lot overseas, so it's it's a huge blast.
So for people that don't know, the M's, it starts at M1 and it goes every 5 years, and you kind of compete in your age group. I was just over in Japan a few weeks ago, and they had a Veterans International Tournament. And they had an M12, so it's got to be like 90 years old. And they had 4 people in the division.
Wow.
And those guys go just as hard as you go or somebody that's a senior goes, but it's just at their age level, right? So the competition's huge overseas, and it's a huge part of what I think keeps people focused. I needed judo. I mean, judo basically saved my life. I'll just say that. I was, running a great business, getting ready to retire, but I know I would be like somebody else that I would know who would be, probably live 2 years and die if I didn't have something to focus on. So the energy that we have as we grow through our business career or in our athletic career when we're younger, you need to have something to focus on, like Ray said. So judo has given me a caveat and an avenue to focus my energy. I'm back doing great positive things. I think I walked into a local club. I was 240 pounds. I was drinking every day.
Wow.
This is only, 3 years ago. So judo got me back in shape. And it has me focused on, now I'm transitioning out of my business career, and I've got something great to do. I'm back coaching and mentoring, getting to compete, and it's been a huge thing. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that have that same need to, have focus and drive.
That sounds amazing. So, I have the impression in my head, like, all right, Masters, we have like a 45-year-old guy that does judo in my gym. He's going to sign up for a local tournament and go uncontested. It just happened to like 2 of my guys at a local tournament. They both went, spent all day there. The other guy didn't show up. He got his money back, burned the whole day. He was so pissed off.
Yep.
Does that happen at some of these bigger events or the international events? Or I would assume not, right?
So look, so first off, that's the number one reason that I started Veterans Judo USA. Because like you, I've had some students that are over 40, but they're white belts, yellow belts, green belts.
Yeah.
And the same exact scenario that you just said happens.
Yeah.
And
so sad.
At 45 or 50, you don't want to fight a 20-year-old, or you don't want to fight even a 30-year-old. Because there's a difference. So we decided, hey, let's promote veterans-only tournaments. So we have a tournament coming up on August 23rd, and then again in January. So we have August and January every year. It's nothing but veterans, right?
No kids.
And how's
no kids, no seniors.
The divisions are are there people in each division? Or?
Yeah, there are people in each division. So now look, we're still growing. I think our last tournament we had like 140 competitors. So we guarantee everybody matches first off. So what happens is it is a points tournament. So if you sign up in your division, no one's there, you get your points.
But I want to know more about that. But we'll get to that.
Then we'll come up to you and say, hey, let's you mind going with these guys, and we'll bracket it up, and we'll either get you another division or we'll get you some exhibition. So everybody competes. So we can get you as close to your age and weight as possible. The next thing is we're done by 3. So
I love that.
We
Love
get in
that.
there. It's
Yeah.
just veterans. You're not coaching your kids. You're not waiting for the seniors to be done, right? We get in there. We start about 9:30. We compete. We're done by 3. We're having an after party after having drinks together.
Oh,
So it's just in and out, and it's just for veterans. And what came up with that, like I've been fortunate enough to go over to Europe a bunch. And the first tournament I did was the Eurometropole in Lille, France, near Paris. They had 800 veterans.
wow.
And they cap it at 800.
It's huge.
The Tours event, they cap at 500. Tremblay is another 500. But they have like 12 tournaments a year,
Wow.
all veterans.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, why should I have to fly to Europe to get some matches in?
Do you think we could get there?
I don't know if we can get to that size, but we can definitely grow for sure. Because look at
Yeah.
veterans at the World Championships in Vegas. There were people showing up. I had no idea who they were. And like I'm in the mix, so I know all the veteran players. And they
Yeah.
were coming from all over, probably because it was Worlds and it was in Vegas. But they don't compete in anything else. So
I'll
do
tell you
think
right
there's
now,
room to
man.
grow.
There's a good 15 to 20% of my gym is over 35.
Yeah.
And you know what? When they say like Sensei, I'm thinking about competing, I'm always like, nah, man, they're gonna put you in these like, why? You're gonna get injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because
But
like an injury
also-
to me is worse than an injury to you. It lasts
Yeah,
longer.
yeah, for sure. And then also like if you're a green belt and you go to some of these veterans tournaments, you may go up against a black. There's this guy Kevin Wang. I'm sure you've heard of this
Yeah, I
guy.
know.
He
I know
always
Kevin
competed.
well.
Yeah, he's a black belt.
Yeah.
And then I've had guys in his age group who just started judo like 4 months ago, and he had to go up against Kevin
Yeah.
Wang, and it's like, like that guy's a black belt. The guy's freaked out. He doesn't want to do it anymore, and it kind of like ruined judo for him a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, that's
like
why we have a novice division. So we have a novice and a novice open. So
Yeah.
that was my main point in this whole thing. It wasn't so much for all the black belts, which I like because I get some of it in for me. But it was for our beginner guys, so they could have an opportunity to compete somewhere at their own level.
There's a lot of guys floating around that are in the clubs that don't even know about the Veterans Judo program or don't know that they can still compete internationally, gain points. There's a points roster. The traveling is, to me, so, a part of the best part of the program, right? You can go do judo for 12 or 15 minutes in France. It's an easy flight over, and then you go travel, spend a week there with your family. It's unbelievable destination traveling. So, and then here it's growing in the U.S. There's a lot of people that you guys know that I know that used to play judo that still show up at the club once in a while. But I think if they had something to focus on, a tournament or two, it would really help them with their game and get more focused on getting back in shape.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
mean,
a
it
good
wasn't
time.
until I saw Ray last year at the World Veterans in Las Vegas, and Ray's like, dude, I'm really running this thing, and I saw the Instagram, and I saw the thing, and I'm like, whoa, well, you're really doing this all out. And then I had forgotten about it, and then I saw Billy at my gym. He came by to work out with us, and then I was like, and Billy's like raving about this Veterans Judo thing, and I'm like, all right, you know what? There's enough people talking about it, and it's getting into my ears. We got to really have a conversation about this, So how do we get people to this competition? Like, what is the buy-in? Like, how does that? It's just regular sign up.
So look, all of my tournaments, they're just on Smooth Comp. I promote it quite a bit on Facebook, on Instagram, and all that. It's just like any other tournament. Super easy to sign up. Our tournaments are about $70 to join. We always try to have them at a location that everyone can fly into easily.
Yeah. That's a good
So
one.
far, we've had them in Texas. We've had them in Chicago,
Charleston, yeah.
Denver, Charleston,
Beach.
Myrtle Beach. I want to have one up your way. We got to shoot for trying to get a venue up towards New York.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, there's a lot of dojos out there that have a lot of old guys. I mean,
Right.
majority of dojos, judo's. I don't want to say this, but it's like almost an aging sport. Most
Right.
gyms have a crop of like
Right.
5 to 10 old guys that are not doing shit in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're it's a social club for them.
for sure.
Yeah.
And they almost kind of ruin it because they start bothering all the young people. Come here, let me show you this thing
Yeah.
that I did. But if there was an avenue for them to actually train and compete in something, they might, bring
Yeah.
back some spark into the club and not annoy everybody. And it's good for the sport for everybody, right?
So look, if you look at it, like the USA Judo puts on nationals, right? So
Yep.
what are the big things for veterans? Nationals and U.S. Open. There's not really any other big thing. You have all the regional tournaments, which try to have them, but they're
Yeah,
not solely.
Yeah, there's
for
four
veterans.
major points events, right? There's nationals. There's the a President's Cup, right?
That's right.
Yep.
President's Cup.
Then you've got the Open, which is coming up here at the end of the month, which is a great tournament. Then what's the other fourth one? There's basically four ones that are major tournaments, and then there's some smaller ones. Here in the U.S., I've gotten matches every time. The last tournament at Dallas, I didn't get a match, but that was fine because I got in some exhibition matches. So as you travel overseas, though, it's a whole different ballgame. It's huge. Judo overseas makes you realize how big judo is in the world. They have players that are still being paid by their government to be part of the program. I mean, there's some tournaments overseas, like in Lille. Paris this year coming up for Worlds is going to be unbelievable. It's going to be, there'll be 16 to 30 deep in bracket. Huge.
Yeah. So you're also doing some fundraising also to like have a U.S. team, because I remember seeing you guys in USA gear and all this stuff. Like, tell me a little bit more about that. I want to know more about that.
So look, a couple things. Number one, we put out some sponsorship opportunities for people for our tournaments, so we can keep those going, make them grow, get them bigger and bigger. A more important one, which I'm really excited about, is we just started a sponsorship program to fund a Team USA to go to Worlds.
Ooh.
So we're going to reach out to a bunch of corporate companies and to some individuals, and really anyone can donate, and just try to gather up some money and try to help athletes pay for their flight, their hotel, and maybe their registration. Because I think that there's two things when you go to Europe. Number one, it's the cost. So that inhibits a lot of people from going. And then two is time. So I can't help with the time part. But
it's tough when you have kids. Then it's like, I got to take off a week and go to this thing, and you got to convince your wife that.
Or you take your wife and your kids, and now the trip's triple.
Quadruple, It's really expensive.
It can be expensive that way. So we're gonna do it. We've already have some commitments from some major companies that are gonna give us some money, and we're gonna simply split it up and try to help people. A couple of the criteria, though, like we kind of have to give the money to people that are helping us. So
of course.
Criteria for funding is you would have to compete in 2 out of the last 3 of our tournaments. And then you would have to be ranked. So the number 1 guy will go. If he can't go, the number 2, and we'll just give money to those people.
So how does the ranking system work?
Say it again?
How does the ranking system work? You're talking about points. It sounds very interesting. The gamification of sport is just like kind of the best thing, right? So how does that work? What does that look like?
So the point system, that's a breaded question for Brad Daniels. Brad Daniels helps us with all that. He's a commissioner for USA Judo for veterans.
Nice.
And it's whatever criteria is right on USA Judo.
Okay, cool.
And I think it's basically each tournaments are worth so many points.
Right.
So our tournaments are worth a certain amount of points. The nationals are open, or the nationals are worth points. US Open, and then if you do anything internationally, they're all worth points.
Nice. Okay, so there's a full-blown ranking roster, and then I think, Billy, you were telling me something about like how the camaraderie on these trips are a little bit different than the actual, like when you were a young person trying to make an Olympic team, you kind of hate everyone, but like it's a different feel and vibe, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're older. Yeah, so, feel and vibe. Ray is, kind of my actual travel buddy, right? Because he knows everyone goes everywhere. It's like going to church with the Pope when you travel with Ray. So the guys over there who travel, they've been doing it a while. It's a really fun trip. Going out, let's see, cocktails, travel, judo. So and everyone takes care of each other. It's not like you're actually left alone. So it's a great way to travel. It really is.
You know what a great part about it is too? And Shintaro, you've been around the world with this stuff. Like, I've met so many people from around the world.
Yeah.
And, like, I'll put a post out, and, like, some guy in Kazakhstan will like my post. Or someone in France. Or, hey, I know this guy in, all these different countries. Or my birthday, they'll wish me happy birthday. And it's just cool. I'm like, hey, there's some dude in Kazakhstan right now saying, hey, I know that guy.
That's
Ray,
awesome.
Ray was invited to go to what, Mongolia with a drug lord or something?
I don't know what he does for work, but
I want to go on that trip.
He had a good
time,
You can tell this guy was like in the game or something, but he's invited Ray to like ride goats and all that good stuff up in the mountains and do judo.
There is a big camaraderie. So not only in the international people, but just for there's a solid group of guys that do compete internationally from the United States that just no one knows about it. I want to say there's at least a dozen and a half of us that always go. Like I learned about all this stuff from some of the old guys like Sandy North, James Kinder. Those guys were doing these tournaments before me. And,
those guys are legends in the sport. Really.
What has he won now? 17 world championships, Sandy? Or something like that?
He's up there.
And he is nimble, man. I got a chance to talk to him at the World Veterans last year, and boy, he has good judo too. He goes he does one-handed stuff. Sode.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think he did a Kataguma in one of the matches too. I was like, what is going on here? Who is this guy?
It was in Lisbon or Poland Worlds. He had the throw of the. It was a Sode, a perfect Sode. It had to be the throw of the tournament.
Yeah, wow. Now I hate to ask this, but what's the injury rate for something like this?
Great question.
That is a great question. At my tournaments, I think we've only had 1 or 2 minor injuries, just a typical like knee, shoulder.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot better because the people are competing against people your own age. You know, you're not going out against a 19-year-old guy who's never done judo that just did BJJ. You know, so if you're 60, you're going against someone that's 60. And then they modify the rule set so as you get older, right? When do you stop doing newaza, right? There's a certain age.
When did I start doing newaza?
No. What age do you stop doing newaza? There's like certain M levels, right?
No. They just knock out chokes for some reason at M7, which is retarded. I'd rather be choked than break my arm.
Yeah, but isn't it because of the risk of the stroke with the plaque in the arteries and the?
Yeah. I get that part. They're saying that, but there's never been an incident, at least that I know of, or anyone knows of. Like, wouldn't you rather have your arm broke?
I don't want my arm
I'd rather have an arm injury. I'm sorry. I'm saying the wrong thing.
Right.
I'd rather be choked and knocked out and woke up than have my arm broke.
Yeah, but I'd rather get my arm broken than get choked and have a stroke.
Yeah, exactly.
Dying's worse than an arm broke.
Right now, right. Time also, right? So as you grow older, your actual time on the mat changes also. Like I'm still going for 3 minutes because I'm an M4. When do you go down to the
M7? M7 goes down to 2.5.
Okay, 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's good that they have the differentiated rule sets like that. That's a really great thing, I think.
Hey, let me make one other point about competing at this age.
Yeah.
So, and I tell this to all my students as well. Like a white belt going against a white belt at any age, his match is tough for him, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The Olympic kids are our senior elites. Their matches are tough for them. Look, my match to me is just as tough, I think, as anyone else's, right? To my perspective, because the guy's at my level and we're fighting hard. So with judo, like, it doesn't change as you get older. It's always hard, right? And
it's very true.
I always am nervous about it, and I always make mistakes or I get injured. But I think that's everybody. That's the sport that we're in. Yeah. So I think you take the sport as hard as you want. I do think as you get to veterans, the players are more cognitive of injuries than maybe the younger kids. Yeah. The refs are a little more lenient with us sometimes. Like, for example, like a false attack to me isn't always a false attack. It might be my 100% attack. It just didn't look great. You know?
No way, Ray. No way.
But you know, so I think it evolves, and I think that's the beauty of our sport, as we can still have that challenge.
All right, so August 23rd, that's the big one, right?
Yeah, that one's in Charleston.
Just timing might be kind of perfect. So it's in Charleston. Tell us a little bit more about that, because I might try to rush this episode past all the ones I have in the log. That way it's enough time for maybe people to sign up, and maybe I'll even bring a team, because I was talking to Billy about going down there to do seminars.
He's coming
anyway. You know,
absolutely.
So what?
So look, it's Saturday, August 23rd.
Yep.
All right. You can go to Smooth Comp and just look up Veterans Judo Open Charleston, or you can go to our website veteransjudousa.com, and it'll take you to a link to there right there. So the tournament you can sign up on. We have a host hotel, which is only about 5 minutes from the venue.
That's huge.
And we get a discount. You don't have to stay there like some other tournaments. You stay there if you want. You get a little cheaper of a rate. We're close by. We'll have an after party where we all kind of go to dinner after.
Nice.
It's right near the hotel, and it's a great event.
Is it in a nice area of? It's in Charleston.
Yeah.
So we're right outside. We're going to be in Somerville, about 15 minutes outside of Charleston.
But it's an easy commute. Airfare super easy to get in and out of Charleston International Airport, and
I think
it's an unbelievable
flies
city
right down there from New York
to visit if you've not been.
Charleston's amazing. Gonna be good. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to bring most of my guys. I mean, so there's a novice division, did you say?
There's a novice division as well. And look, here's the other thing. On Smooth Comp, like right now we have low numbers, and every tournament we have all the way up until August we have low numbers. No one signs up till the end. So if anyone out there is hesitant about signing up because they don't see people in their divisions, just give it a minute, right?
Yeah.
Because we always end up getting over 100 competitors. People always come in, but for whatever reason, people like to sign up at the end.
Yeah, I think that's most tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Because it gets me nervous all the way up until like a week before.
I'm a last minute
dude,
tournament
so,
signer. I'm a last minute
Come on,
guy.
Billy. You
I am. I'll tell you.
got to get
Look,
Billy to
from
sign
the
up
East
right
Coast,
now. That's
fairly
what I'll
easy
do.
to get into. You can fly probably
Yeah.
direct out of New York, Newark, Philly. Charleston Airport's a nice little airport, and the venue is only about 15 minutes from there.
Yeah.
So we're
And you
pretty
do a
close.
camp also?
Yeah, so this year's camp's going to be October 10th, I believe it is. It's going to be up at Doug Tono's in Chicago.
Okay. Chicago's pretty nice. Which
we
area
have
of
one
Chicago,
each year.
though?
Yeah, we have one each year in preparation for the Worlds, and it's always great, man. And let me tell you what, Doug Tono's gym alone has a ton of high-level veteran players, man. I don't know what it is about there, but they're all attracted to his club. And
He's been in the game a long time.
been in the game a long time. We have
Yeah.
him there. We've had him in Texas. We've had him out in Las Vegas, but this year's Chicago.
Worlds is in Paris this year.
Yeah,
Which is
that's
gonna
going to
be
be
huge.
the highest level in the world. You
Yeah.
know, Paris is easy for everyone to get to.
It's true. When is it, the Veterans World?
The first week in November.
Yeah, I might be selected to go to that, actually, to do the commentating.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
did it
great.
last year for the...
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
It
That was awesome, man. I
It was
love that.
awesome.
Yeah. You see some freaking natures out there. Like, you see guys who are Olympic level guys coming in their 40s, coming back, making a comeback, and... Right?
Yeah, you know what? Like over in Europe, man, it's high level, man. Same thing. I just fought. I was where I was in Latvia, and I forget the guy's name, and he's gonna kill me for forgetting it. But I get paired up with him. I'm looking at his profile.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, bronze medal in Sydney. Oh, that's great.
Wow. You're tough?
It was a tough match. I lost, but it was a tough
Nice.
match.
Yeah.
But there's guys out there that still feel the urge to do it and want to keep doing it. And it can be as easy as you want or as hard as you want,
All
really.
right. Here's a good question.
Yeah.
There's guys like me who tried to make an Olympic team and got somewhat close and had
Yeah.
relative success internationally. And when you're doing it at that level, right? And when you have a world ranking list, I was 43rd in the world and stuff
Yep.
on the senior ranking list. And then everyone's like, Masters doesn't count. And all these young guys are talking shit. And then when you get to that level, when you're the Masters guy, I'm 40 now.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if I ever make a comeback, I'm going to do it at the senior level because I still got it. And it's very difficult psychologically to go backwards almost, right? If you were on the senior world, I fought in those senior world championships. There's a lot of guys like that. Guys who I competed with back in the day who refused to do it. Like I was just talking to Leo Lopes. You guys know Leo Lopes?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, he's kind of like that too. So what do you say to those guys?
So look, I see both sides because when I fought the guy that medaled in Sydney, I was like, well, why is he doing this?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But then I think if you were to come back and try it, you would have to do a big one. Like if you went over to Europe and did one of their big tournaments, so World Championships or whatever, you'd realize that competition level is a lot higher than you think it is.
Yeah.
And you can't sleep on them.
I mean, I know the competition level is high, but psychologically, if I lost to a 40-year-old, I'd be devastated.
That's why you got to train, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you'll be getting back in shape even more.
You
Because
know,
you don't want to.
You know Big Mike Perditis? Like,
Oh yeah, I know Mike
so
Perditis, yeah.
he competed at Worlds right at the senior level.
Yeah.
And he's still doing it. He does well too. Like he's done well over in Europe. So that'd be a great question for him. But I think it's just with some people, just the fire still exists.
Yeah.
And realistically, you have to, we have families, we have jobs and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
to make another, senior elite run is, just not time, it's
Can't
too
do
time
it.
consuming.
Just can't, yeah, it's just
you
the
can't
time,
do it.
yeah.
But
All right, so
I
the
think-
guys who are listening out there who are like, I've never done a competition before, like, what do you say to those guys? And, I think growing veterans judo is your mission, right? So how do we do that? How do we get these guys back in the game?
So look, I think the perfect way is to start doing my tournaments. We have them twice a year. Again, August, at the end of August every year, and then the first week of January every year. And I think it's a good experience because from low rank to higher rank, you're going to be able to get some matches in. You're going to get your fire going again. Get used to how the system's done. Because we do weigh-ins the night before, and like the whole process, just like you do at nationals or world championships, and just being active with it. I can see the frustration if you did a regional tournament. Like I did one of Ramon's tournaments with my students a few months ago. Yeah. And he puts on a great tournament, right? And tons of people.
Mostly kids.
My students fought at 7.
Yeah.
Yes.
7 o'clock at night.
Terrible.
And then, that means I don't get home till 11 at night. So I can see the frustration part of that. Yeah. With our tournaments, we're doing 2 a year now. Hopefully that grows in the future. It'll be a nice, easy, fun way to get involved again, right? Low injury risk. It's going to go fast. You're going to be around people who have all the same understandings that you do. And you'll be able to get some great matches in. So I think that's a perfect way.
Well, and I'd also say, Ray, that for the people like that are chasing the higher level stuff or maybe used to be on the world tour and want to get back, that one of the most important things to know is that you don't have to qualify on the points roster to like be top 15 in the world to go to Worlds, right? If you're back in shape and you want to go to a high level tournament, you don't have to build your points back up like you do as a senior, right? You can get in shape and show up to Worlds if you want, and just get it on.
There's a site out there, especially for the guys that have been doing this a little more, and you can get through our site, but it's Judo Plus 30. A guy from Germany runs it, and he has all the international tournaments throughout the year. And there's, without counting them, there's probably 30 or 40 tournaments throughout the, for just veterans.
You guys go to Japan a lot?
I went for the first time a few weeks ago.
I did, yeah.
There's some big tournaments over there. I know a guy that he has a dojo out in Goshen. Martinez, you know him? Mike Martinez. I mean, it's such a common name, but like Mike Martinez, he's an older guy. He competed over there at a Masters tournament, and he was like, I couldn't believe how many older guys there were.
Yeah, I was just there for their last tournament a few weeks ago. There were 16 people in my division.
Wow.
That's good.
We don't get that at senior nationals over here,
Right. Not at all. Yeah. I had the U.S. Opens in 2 weeks. I got one person in my division.
Nah. Well, so is there a women's division also?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I'll bring a team over to the thing.
Yeah.
Contact all my the Masters guys and be like, all right, who wants to go? We're gonna
put the band back together.
Yeah, I think I'm telling you, man. I was saying it somewhere. I think at like one of the national events, talking to the committee and the board. It's like the veterans division is like the most neglected. You guys know Burt Mackey? Burt Mackey.
Yes.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
He was like a Team USA coach a few times that I was on like international trip, and so we got time to talk and stuff. And man, like that guy should be treated. I mean, how many Masters Division nationals has he won? But no one knows about this guy. Yeah. And he gives back the most to the program. He runs a dojo. He coaches the young kids. Goes to these events. Sends athletes to these things. Competes himself. He's a great example. But like you get no love.
Yeah.
So how can we change that?
That's a great point. So that like if USA Judo gave us some support, I would have never had to start Veterans Judo USA. Yeah. We did that just so we can run some tournaments and give back. And I think and there's some great guys at USA Judo. I just think they neglect it for whatever reason. But all anyone's looking for is some recognition. Yeah. Right? And a little support of our tournaments. Right? Yeah. They did it one year when Worlds were in Poland a few years ago. And I forget who the lady was that did it, but she put out a bunch of posts of how everyone did and all that, and there was at least this recognition of how well did everyone did. I have a friend down in Texas who got silver at last year's Worlds, and he's disheartened by the whole thing because there was zero. There's not one picture of him on USA Judo, and now he's switching. Looks like he's switching over to BJJ tournaments instead.
The BJJ does a great job, man. I know guys in their 40s and 50s, they compete in their division, blue belt, like whatever it is, and they get on the podium and they look like superstars. Even if they're uncontested, they get a huge medal, big podium picture.
For sure.
A lot of community love. No one's like, oh, you're in a shitty division. Oh, you're in a Masters division. There's none of that going on.
They do a better job. That's what Veterans Judo USA is trying to do. We're trying to bring that out and let people know and give people recognition for all the hard work they've put in.
So what can I do to help?
Just spread the word.
Aside from me competing in this thing, because I don't want to lose to a 40-year-old.
I think you'll do all right, brother. But
I'm not ready for that yet.
Hey, the first thing is bringing your students down. That'd be tremendous.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that.
And that's really the thing. Like, the reason we have these tournaments in different cities all year is just to get word out, right? It's just because like each city, like when I'm having it in Charleston, we're gonna have all the local guys in our area, like South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia. All those guys will come. Maybe get some like New Jersey, New Yorkers. When we do it in Texas, it's Texas, Oklahoma, and all those guys come. When we did one in Denver. And I think if we can get the people from all those different places to show up at one tournament, it would be huge.
Showing up to one tournament's big because it's just too diluted. These guys go over here, those guys go over there. I've had multiple times when my Masters veterans guys would show up and there's just non-contested, and this guy wants to go, that guy wants to go, and it's like, if we all get everyone to one competition, I think that'd be a huge deal.
Yeah, and we're getting there, man. Like, again, we had like 140 at our last tournament, and that was out. Where was the last one? Texas or something. But I think it's just spreading the word that there's an opportunity. Like, being on your podcast is huge just to get word out. It's just because people just don't know. And I know there's guys just like me, there's just like Bill, just like you, that out there that can still do it, still want to train, still want to compete. They just don't know about it.
Very true. Very true. So what would you say about guys who are like you were saying something about on the list of things like me and Billy were chit-chatting and getting started in veterans judo, just training wise, like how do they find gyms? Like, is there a gym that's more geared towards older dudes, or is that not a thing?
I don't know if that's a thing yet, but I think it's more common. I think more and more old guys are showing up. Look, anyone can always get a hold of me. Like, judo's my passion. Again, like Bill, I'm towards the tail end of, my business career, and that things are going well there, and I have a lot of time for judo. If they go to our site, veteransjudousa.com, they can get a hold of me. Between me, Brad Daniels, Hector Negron, we'll find you a gym close by to your place.
Yeah.
Right? Just like you would know people who everyone is.
Yeah. It's like it's the biggest untapped resource, the veterans division. Because unlike the young athletes in the senior division who are absolutely broke from trying to make an Olympic team, you guys actually have the funds and the resources to do these events and support USA Judo. It should be like this symbiotic thing where USA Judo helps you guys help them, and who better than guys who could say like, oh, we're at the tail end of our career, we're winding down, we're getting rid of assets and focusing on judo. Who better than those guys to promote judo as a whole?
That for sure is what USA Judo needs to see. You're 100% right. It's an untapped community. If we're going to go
with a lot of resources that could put money into judo, right? There's guys like us sitting on here that could change the whole financial dynamic of judo, but there's got to be give and take, right? There's got to be a buy-in on both sides, and the board's got to get focused on marketing judo to people other than the national team, right? I mean, running ads to educate and starting to integrate back into BJJ, because there's a lot of guys training BJJ that are over 30, 35. It's a huge part of the demographic, right? So that's how I got started back here. When I got back in, there was no judo club in Buford, so I had to join a BJJ club, and I took 35 other guys out and then started a judo club with it. So getting involved and knowing that there's some great regional training opportunity. Ray and I just had a big, huge day Saturday. We get, like one day a month, all of the region around to come and train. So we're just trying to build it at the grassroots level. But it's out there, with a little bit of education and people understanding what it is first, and that it's easy to get involved with. Even with your overseas travel, USA Judo's got a rep that will help you with your planning. And they make sure that you're on the roster, that you have the right documentation. Once you go to the tournament, overseas, right? There's a list, and they basically walk you through that, so it's not this big unknown issue. And and then there's always guys going like Ray and stuff. So they will put you with a group of people that make it very easy to go and have a great time doing judo.
Yeah, the great time's huge. I mean, like jiu-jitsu, the average age is so old. I mean, it's like deep into the 30s for sure. So it's like, why can't judo be that? I mean, I get it. Like the teaching has to change. You have to adapt training for a lot of these older guys. Mm-hmm. They can't walk in 38 years old, never having done any sport, and like, all right, go do randori, right? So there needs to be like an education behind it too. But why shouldn't it be?
I think it's just been ignored for so many years that it's just going to take a minute to get going. Yeah. Like when I talk to the guys over in France, they right now France has like 12 tournaments a year for veterans, all from beginner up to excellence. And they're really well organized. And they said, I heard 10 years ago they weren't that way, and they built it up. So I think by us having these tournaments each year, promoting nationals, promoting the U.S. Open, President's Cup, get people involved in it, it'll slowly get a hold and grow.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you're above 30 and you do sport judo, or even wrestling or BJJ, August 23rd in Charlotte. Charleston. Sorry. Why did I say
Not too far from Charlotte.
It's pretty close, right? I was right.
Pretty close.
All right, there we go. Right. And then for those of you guys who are listening who are interested, where do they find you guys?
So veteransjudousa.com. Again, it's veteransjudousa.com.
Instagram.
Get us a hold of there. I can get you any information. I can get you set up for the tournament. I can help you with international stuff. Find you a club. We're here to help.
And they can reach out to you personally on Instagram also? What's a good Instagram channel for that?
So Instagram, it's Veterans Judo USA.
Yep. Or I'm at Billy Gavigan, or I can even pass my cell out. Just text me 843-252-3559. Drop me a text message, and I'll get you in touch with who you need to talk to.
Yeah, you could text Billy any time of the day, ask him what he's wearing, and he will respond to you.
Yes, sir. No excuses.
That's awesome, man. Thank you guys for being on. I'm really actually very excited. You know, I spoke to you last year, Ray, and I got pumped about the veterans idea. And, you know, like most things, like, I kind of forget or things kind of take over. And but we're very excited to kind of help.
Look, if you can get some guys down there, once you see one of our tournaments, you'll see how exciting it is and how we're going to grow this thing, for sure.
Oh.